I've built the best nightstand setup for the common prepper with common constraints in mind. Plus, it's a versatile setup that can have the most important equipment that you find valuable swapped out, and not just my specific setup. It's organized, it deters, it defends, it's safe for the family, and best of all, it's wife approved. If you're new to this channel, which I suspect that you are because there are only 35 subscribers to the channel at the point of recording this video, but in this channel I talk about emergency preparedness, prepper builds similar to this one, gear reviews, as well as different global affairs commentary, and other fun things that you may find enjoyable. If any of those things pique your interest, make sure you subscribe to this channel, as well as like this particular video about this nightstand setup, and I'll just remind you one more time at the end of the video too, so you won't forget. And to thank you for subscribing, I'm going to show you a picture of this rugged and rare steak. One thing is I do have a plug-in for my alarm right next to my nightstand in addition to the main hub on the main floor, and that is just to be able to sound off and make sure that I wake up. Honestly, a scenario happened where something fell and hit the window. I was some Christmas decorations, and when that fell, it triggered the alarm, and I can say pretty confidently that that base station would have woken me up even on the main floor. But nonetheless, I do like to have a second hub for it to plug into the outlet as another way for the alarm to go off right next to my head so I can make sure that I wake up and be able to defend my family. So let me go into this whole setup and explain all the different components and why I selected these specific things for just practical reasons, as well as constraints that were really specific to me. I want to give you an idea on how little I was prepared for any type of scenario, and I have not been trained in any type of hand-to-hand combat, nor do I plan to anytime soon. I didn't even have a baseball bat or a knife or anything at all. So I decided to go out and build this perfect setup that was the best for my specific use case. There are three main constraints that I had to work within when building this setup specifically. One, my wife had to approve, and in order for her to be able to approve it, I couldn't have my firearm next to me. Now just wait, because I did find a scenario that will work for me, and you could always put in your firearm instead, because there is something similar that I want to show you here. In addition to that, I didn't want to kill unless I had to, and I've accepted the fact that I could do that if I really need to, but I would prefer not to lead with that. I'd rather lead with deterring before going on to that next step. And a home security system does that, and then I have one other layer of deterrence before I have to go to any type of lethal measure. And then finally, I want to protect my family. Now, you may think, oh yeah, this is you protecting your family, but if this is not secure, if anything that I can have for any type of lethal or less than lethal things that could be lethal, then I need to make sure that they're securely fastened and secure so that my children can't even come next to it, can't even have a chance of being able to injure themselves, because that defeats the entire purpose. And sometimes people over-justify being able to have a firearm to defend their family when they don't think about the key thing, which is defending their family from themselves, from accidents. And that's what I also tried to work with within this constraint. And I've also tried to work with a reasonable budget and find a way to be able to have it so it's easily accessible. And I think I was able to hit all my key constraints when building this out. You'll see that there's a couple key areas of this particular nightstand. This is an IKEA nightstand, but it is made of solid wood. And I really like that because I needed to be able to screw into a safe, into some type of nightstand that I knew would be safe and secure, and I didn't want to go with any type of particle wood. I really like this particular IKEA nightstand because it is unfinished, and if you have a certain color of wood that you're trying to go with, then you can always paint it to your liking or stain it to whatever you want. And this is only, I believe this nightstand is roughly $150, so really reasonably priced. It has legs down here that make it a little taller. There is a shelf under here that does not have a front right here. So this was a perfect place to mount this particular safe. You'll notice actually that this safe is mounted flush right here. And I did that because there may be a chance that my wife may want me to cover this up a little bit more. And you can buy different parts and components as well as just common pine like this. This is more of a blonde pine. So I could purchase just a faceplate or just make one and mount it to the front as like a false front that I could just pop out. And that's a way to fully hide everything if I really wanted to. I thought this looked okay, and I just gave myself the ability to create a front if I wanted to in the future. Now I've got my top surface that I commonly use for my common items, as well as this IKEA lamp, and then I have a wireless charger, and I normally will keep some type of water bottle up here as well. And finally, I have the main drawer that is a sliding drawer with Kaizen foam that is able to have all my cutout components that I really like to keep organized. I am pretty particular about these types of things in my organization. If I'm putting effort into building something, I really focus on organization, and there's just something about foam cutouts that just like make it seem so much more organized. So I really like that piece too. And you'll notice that this safe, it was actually pretty affordable too. I believe it was roughly around $100, maybe $150. It has a pin, it's battery powered. This is still at 100%. It gives you a little indicator here. This 100% was great. It's only been, I think it's been roughly 6 months, and then not even a percentage has dropped off. And it's also got a fingerprint reader for me as well that I programmed my wife's finger as well. We programmed, I believe, up to 6, so my wife has access as well as myself, and I'll go into the particular items in here in just one second. For fun, let's just start at the bottom piece for now and take a look at what I've got inside of here. At the moment, I have my headphones, I have 2 of my normal glasses and glasses cleaners, I've got my sunglasses that are prescription sunglasses, I have a tactical flashlight that has a front that you could use as be able to hit someone with it if you wanted to, but this thing is very, very bright, and I do like this as a quick to access all the time if I need to. There's also a nice Essie knife. This is a fixed blade. I was trying to decide if I wanted to put this in the safe or not. I ultimately decided that it was safe enough in here for my family. And I was thinking through the logic, and I was struggling with this one, if whether I needed to put it in a safe for a little bit more safekeeping. But I decided that if I really needed to, I could get a child lock for this particular drawer, which is similar to the cabinetry in the kitchen if I have a knife within a drawer. So I was thinking that it's kind of the same thing. Now, the last thing that I've got in here is specific to my security system. And this is a Ring security system. This is a panic button. There's a little plastic piece over top that covers the button so I don't accidentally ring it. And you can just press and hold this for 3 seconds and it sounds off the base unit, which with the subscription that I have, it will call emergency services as well if I don't answer my phone. And rather than in a panic being able to try and fumble doing 911 and try and gather all my things that I need, I can just press this while I'm grabbing my other things that I need. It can set off the alarm, it can deter, which is what I'm trying to do right now. I also keep these in my gun safes because if I'm accessing my gun in a quick scenario, I want to be able to access this and hit a panic. So whether I have my phone on me or not, it doesn't matter because there's always this panic button here too. And I've been thinking about the different scenarios, and if my wife didn't have her phone on her, or I'd probably be telling her to press the panic button while I'm getting the other weapons out of here and defending the family. I'll probably have her grab our children and press that button. And that's a good way for her to always have it, even when I'm not home, that button available to her so she can hide in a closet and have it right there, since this is right near the closet too. Now, let's go into this top safe because this is pretty neat up here. I've been really liking this particular safe for a few reasons. One thing I've really liked about this is I've decided to go with a Bryna specifically. And I do have a CO2 cartridge in it, and it is not pierced right now so it won't leak. If you press the trigger on safety, it's on safety right now, but if you press the trigger on safety or on fire, then it will puncture that CO2. If you're in fire mode, it will puncture it and shoot that first round. But these are pretty nice. I decided to go with 5 of the kinetic rounds to start with, and then transition into, I've got a nether mag here, and this has 5 of the pepper spray rounds. And that means that I can hit them with a couple kinetic rounds, swap over, do another 5 rounds of the pepper. And by that point, if they're still going up the stairs, I'm transitioning to my knife at that point. This is a less than lethal. I guess it could be lethal if you did point blank range and in certain scenarios. I also have a red dot sight and a flashlight on this too. I've set the red dot sight to be focused more at the bottom of the stairs. So I held this down, aimed it at the bottom of the stairs so that it could be the most accurate for if I was trying to defend the stairs of someone coming up. So I've been really happy with this as a solution where it is a weapon, but it isn't a gun per se, not a with ammunition. But I do have this with a foam cutout too, and I can always swap this out with my 1911 or any other future firearms I have if I feel like the risk has been increased more than a normal situation. So if there was any type of society collapse, any type of riots or looting or whatever, I would for sure be swapping this out with a full firearm. But for the daily, less risky, high consequence, my goal is to deter. And then if they get close enough, they'll be hard to see. They'll have the pepper spray and the pepper rounds, and I'll have an advantage even though I'm not as trained with any type of combat. At least I have the advantage of being able to have them not be able to see, and I can use my knife if I need to there. So I'm gonna set that in here. And then finally what I've got is some pepper spray. I know that my wife will not use something that looks like a gun to defend herself, even though she could totally use it. She doesn't know how safeties work, and I don't think that she plans to want to know anytime soon. But what I was able to get her to agree to was utilize some good old-fashioned pepper spray. I did show her how to use it, just flip up the tap, and then be able to use that on someone. So I do keep this here in addition to the firearm, and I think that this is a good way to give her something when I'm not there as a way to defend herself. And it gives her something to be able to run. And I'm trying to do my best to work within my constraints. So those are the only things that I have up here. But you can totally swap those out for a firearm if you think that is the best thing for you and for your family. Personally, if you're in a fairly safe neighborhood, I think that this is the best option. I think people would probably already be deterred from the alarm system, and then if they get hit with something that's like a very painful paintball equivalent, then I think that they would more than likely just run out of there. The only reason why someone might be trying to still go up the stairs and try and attack and get through those rounds would be if they were actually coming for you specifically and you were the target. And I can't think of a reason why that would happen, for me, at least right now. And I think that if I was ever going to be the target or something, I'd probably be aware that something happened where I'm at higher risk, and then I would just swap it out with a real firearm. So that's kind of my plan of action. Why I've really liked this specific nightstand setup. It's a clean, it looks good. It looks good next to our bed. It matches everything. I've got quick access to my daily items that I actually use, like my glasses and glasses cleaner, my headphones. I've got my fixed blade for whenever I want to have it as my EDC or just have it next to me. I've got my panic button, and then I've got a firearm, an extra magazine, and the pepper spray up here. And that is really perfect for just me in my use case. So hopefully that you have really liked this and my explanation on why I did this specifically, because I haven't found a lot of people make really good nightstand setups that I think the average person would really like. And between this cheap IKEA nightstand as well as this particular safe, I think that it's a really cheap setup to have a good nightstand. I hope that you have liked this video, and please make sure you subscribe and like this video, because if you think other people should be making more videos about nightstands like this, then you should definitely like this video so that they know that they should copy me.